Welcome to Iris After Hours.
Casual conversations with inspirational speakers off the clock.
Guys, welcome back to Iris After Hours. Here we are in the middle of the night. Well, not really, but we have a special guest, and her name is Libby Frizz. She's our good friend, and she has just been named top 100 new screenwriters in Hollywood. So we really want to talk to her. She's an amazing woman of God. She served in the military for many years. How many years?
6.5.
6.5 years in intelligence. So we're going to ask questions tonight that she cannot answer.
She's a writer.
But I'm going to go there.
AMC network show.
And she's
Turn.
Yep.
You can watch her episode in season 3 and coming up in season 4 that she's writing now. Libby, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Oh, yeah.
How far did you have to come today?
Oh, man. It was like 45 minutes. Whoa.
Come
So
on.
it was like 3 miles.
Yeah. Exactly. That's a very LA answer.
LA traffic.
For those of you who don't live in LA, that's how we talk.
Yeah.
It's in times, not in distances.
Yeah.
How far to get from places.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So where are you? Are you a native from here in California?
No, I grew up in Indiana.
Oh, Indiana?
Yeah.
John Cougar Mellencamp country.
Yes, and David Letterman.
What is that?
Come on.
Oh,
You don't
singer.
know John Cougar
Yeah.
Mellencamp?
Great singer.
Oh, he's going to go into a crazy segue.
Little ditty
story.
about Jack and Diane.
I
Two
can sing.
American kids growing up in the heartland.
Yeah.
You heard that song?
Oh, no.
You've never heard that song?
No.
Oh my
Jack
gosh.
wants to be a football star. Yeah, we won't go on the rest. Yeah.
we won't go on.
That's
Okay. Something for me to look up.
Yes.
Great.
I was born in a small town. My parents lived in that same small town. No? No.
No,
You remember that
still
one?
no.
Yeah.
Remember that one?
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Okay,
So growing up.
Paper and Fire.
So anyway, yeah. So there was
Indiana.
corn and soybeans and pigs and cows, and it was very flat. Yeah.
And did you know you wanted to be a writer?
I did when I was very little. First, I wanted to be a composer, and then I think a zookeeper, and then a spy, and then a writer.
Spy. Is that
Yeah,
where you got
I
into
did.
intelligence in the
Later,
in
yes,
the
much
Navy?
later. Yeah.
Because the Navy isn't. I've got to get my forces right because
Yes, thank you.
you cannot get a person's
Right.
specificity of serving in the military
branch is important.
wrong.
Yeah, all the branches
branch, the branch.
are wonderful,
Thank you.
and
That's what I was
thank you
looking for.
for all who served, but Navy's the best.
Navy's the
Yes.
best. Come on.
Is it? Was it a good experience?
Yeah, I didn't love every aspect of it, but I did love a lot of parts of it. It was great to meet all the wonderful people and serve the country and
Yeah.
overseas.
And now you get your 10% discount at Home Depot. I'm so
I keep
jealous.
forgetting about that. I have not
Don't
used
forget.
it once.
I'm coming
Yeah.
with you. Next time,
Yeah,
ring me next time you
okay.
at Home Depot. I'm coming to buy.
Yeah.
I want my 10%
Yeah.
discount.
Same.
If you need to buy a barn there.
Yeah. Are you military? No. Okay.
What got you into the military?
Well, I needed college money initially, and my brother had read this article in Time or Newsweek or something about top secret clearances and the jobs, like the tech jobs and Intel that went along with that, and it sounded interesting, and so I ended up going to talk to the Navy recruiter, and they were the best at their job, so I joined the Navy.
How old were you?
I was 17. I joined late entry, and then as soon as I graduated high school, we went off to boot camp. so-
17.
Yeah.
Real boot camp. Was it tough? Boot camp?
No, it's
Really?
not much. It's mostly just sleep deprivation, so you just don't
Okay.
get that much sleep.
Ooh.
So you get to bed
For
late
8 or
and
9 weeks.
And what time they wake you up? Like 5 in the morning or something?
Yeah, something early. I don't know. You don't see clocks very often. It's early. So, yeah.
Just when Sergeant calls.
Does that mean
Yeah.
parenthood can qualify you for the military?
Absolutely. Yeah, you get more sleep in boot
Yeah,
camp
yeah,
than
yeah.
you do with the kids.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Just in case
Yeah.
we ever want to.
Yeah.
Goodness me.
So did you at the time when you were graduating high school, entering the military, had you let go of the writing idea at that point?
Yeah, I had, because my brother's a phenomenal artist, and everybody who ever saw his stuff is like, oh yeah, you should be a professional artist, But nobody ever
Painter?
wants to read writing.
Artist?
Well, he's an animator, so he was doing cartoons and he did some paintings and things like that. But yeah, nobody ever tells writers that, like, some writers maybe, but not
Yeah.
me. And so I was like, it's just the special people that get to do those things, for a lifetime. And then later, obviously, I decided that I wanted to pursue writing, but that was jump way
After
in
the
future.
military? Or did
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yep. After the military, then I was a missionary for a while.
What?
And, yeah.
Tell me.
Yeah,
Where?
yeah. Well, at first I was with World Team, and then there's sort of a branch that goes into some countries, working with non-government organizations.
NGOs?
Yeah,
Yeah.
NGOs. Yep. And then while I was in Bible college, I had this experience where I got baptized in the Spirit, and so started praying in tongues. And
Which
the
Bible
agency I
college?
was with, Columbia International University.
Wow.
Yeah, which is kind of funny because they're not really known for
Yeah.
the Holy
They're kind of
Spirit.
conservative.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you mind telling us how that? Do you want to go into that just a little bit?
Sure.
What
yeah.
happened with that?
Absolutely. Well, just in reading the Word, at one point, I was reading about, your Father knows how to give you good gifts. He's, if
doesn't give you a
you
snake.
being evil know to give your kids good gifts, and He's not going to give you a snake when you ask for an egg, that sort of thing. And I forget how, but it's somehow tied into the gifts of the Spirit, or at least it was at that moment. And so I had just been reading and saw that happening, in Acts and things like that. And so I asked for it and prayed for it, and all my friends were charismatic, and I didn't know it at Bible college. And there's
They were keeping it secret.
well, they're not actually, at least at this point, they weren't even allowed to talk about it on campus. Maybe they can now. So, but yeah, all the people that I ended up being friends with were charismatic, and I didn't even really understand what that word meant because I didn't grow up in church, so I didn't understand the different denominations anyway. And so one of my friends who had that prayed for me, and I felt like God was like, just wait a little bit. So 2 weeks later, I was driving home for spring break, and I was driving alone in the car, and I just all of a sudden started speaking in tongues, and
By yourself?
Yeah.
After
and it
you
was
prayed
great
for yourself?
and my friend prayed for me. It was like about
Alright.
2 weeks later. Yeah. And so then just for the next bunch of hours driving in the car, I just speaking really fast in tongues, almost hyperventilating, because I was just like not breathing. And
Because you were so excited.
Yeah, it was such a blast. And so I ended up joining a different missions agency. Then I decided to go with YWAM. And so I did a DTS then in Cimarron, Colorado, and outreach with them. Around the Himalayas, and then
Tibet?
and Nepal and Pakistan, and
No way.
and then
Did you cross borders in the mountains, or did you?
Well, we almost illegally went into China at one point. In northern Pakistan, we were right there at the where they touch, and the Chinese border guards were doing a check somewhere else, and the guy we were with spoke Urdu and was very charismatic, like in the engaging way, and so got the Pakistani guards to let us like come right on the border. So.
How cool.
So that was fun. So yeah, that was the only overland border. Although actually, I did take a jeep ride from Kathmandu up to Lhasa.
Okay.
So that's overland as well.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Did you ever think that would be a long-term thing? Did
Actually,
you love it, or was it harder than you thought? Or?
Yeah, well, I really wanted to work with Tibetans because I'd always loved them since I read this book, this travel narrative, when I was 16. In fact, that's one of the reasons I went into military intelligence, because I thought I could work in embassies, because that's one of the things that the Navy recruiters told me. And I
all
wanted
the cool
to,
things you could do.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to be a diplomat to work for the political freedom there, and but then later realized that the spiritual freedom was more important anyway, at least on this side. So working for that, and then God would, take me through whatever route. But so yeah, I really wanted to go be a long-term missionary working with Tibetans. But I did a school of frontier missions in New York City with YWAM after that, and God just opened up the Tibetan community to me there, because there's at least 5,000 who live there that
New
are
York?
known, and there's probably more than that. Yeah,
In New
that
York?
are there. Yeah.
Wow.
And I just happened to meet this woman who organized all of the Tibetan community in the city to these once a month Tibetan culture meetings, and so I was friends with her and her
So
family.
you suddenly got to do that.
Yeah, so all of the Tibetan community was open up to me in New York, and so I ended up staying in New York for a while.
How cool.
Yeah, and then
New York City or upstate?
Yeah, New York City. Yeah, yeah. So I was actually at that point living across in Nyack, and I was hoping to move into Queens, where there's a lot of Tibetans. So I would just cross over a lot of times.
Wow.
From Jersey?
Yeah, no, New York.
Oh,
Yeah,
New York.
Nice
Nyack.
accent, man.
Come on.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah.
Gotta try.
Yeah,
Coffee.
wasn't in the Garden State.
That's
Oh
so
my
funny.
gosh,
that's
that's so-
amazing. You
That
got
is-
to do that right there in New York.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know, missions on
It's
your back
basically- there's-
doorstep.
They call the Subway 7, they call it TIE, the International Express, because it goes through areas of Queens that basically house some unreached person, you know, from like every unreached people group are all there in Queens. Like there's
Wow.
a
On
line
representative of
7.
yeah, like all of them. Yeah.
gosh.
There's at least 1 or 2, you know, living somewhere in Queens. That's what they figure. So
Interesting.
That's hilarious. So did you ever get to live in Queens?
no, I never did. I was in Brooklyn for before that for the School of Frontier Missions. Yeah.
Right.
I've been in a church basement with no air conditioning in the New York summer.
Amazing.
Oh yeah.
Okay, true mission.
Awesome.
That's mission
That-
lifestyle
I was
right
gonna
there.
say that is like
Suffering.
being on the mission field.
Yeah,
pretty
exactly.
much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So how did the writing thing come back around for you?
So after I was in New York.
Oh, hang on. I'm just lost. This mission thing's after the military?
Yeah.
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 Good, okay.
So I got out of mission,
tracking.
or got out of the military, finished college, 4 missions, expecting to go overseas, and then ended up staying in New York. And so then I read one of Bill Johnson's books and loaned it to my friend who told me about the school out Bethel. And I remember my heart was just like burning inside, but I was like, nope, I'm stationed here. I'm stationed here in New York. You know, I think in the military terms, like this is where God has me here in New York, working with the Tibetan community. And just kind of trying to find ways to serve them. And before any of that got going too much, the doors sort of just closed in New York. And, you know, sometimes that happens and you just have to like beat your way through the brick wall with your head. And that's what I was doing. But the brick wall never stopped.
And you're bleeding.
Yes, exactly.
You're broken.
Yeah, and I was like,
this
okay,
is
God.
right.
This is all metaphorical.
Yeah, exactly.
We're talking
Do
in
not
metaphors
beat your,
here,
do
not
not
literal.
beat your head
Yeah.
against a brick wall, unless there's a spider, and then maybe just
Yeah,
get rid
kill
of
the
it.
spider, yes.
Yeah, exactly. But don't use your head. So I ended up. I was like, I could go anywhere, God, and I felt like He was like, the Bethel School just came to mind, and I was like, really? And I felt like He was like, if you want to, and because I'd been praying for people on the streets of New York to see miracles, and I knew the Tibetan community really needed to see that because I would share the gospel with my Tibetan friends, and one of them would be like, oh, that's nice, Libby, like, you know, like.
They needed to see something
Yeah,
tangible.
they could believe that what I was saying was 100% true for me, but what they believed, which is diametrically opposed, was still completely true for them.
Yeah.
And you know, there's a lot of powerful things that they sometimes see in their religion, so they needed to see the miracles of Jesus, and so I wanted the power gospel to show them.
And what's
the
the
truth of
the
Christ.
religion is Buddhism?
Tibetan Buddhism, which
Tibetan
is
Buddhism.
Bon mixed with Buddhism, so it's a
Right.
little bit different bent.
Right.
Yeah, Bon is like the older sort of
Bit different
religion.
like Thai Buddhism.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very different. So I ended up going out, and I just thought I would do first year, and then I would come back, and then this drive that I had to work with Tibetans just kind of lifted after I'd been at Bethel for about 3 or 4 months, and I was like, come back, because I'd had that burden for Tibetans since I was like 16 and read this book, and by this time I was 28 or something, which I'm still 28 today.
Come on.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So are we.
Yeah, exactly. We're all 28 forever. Oh, I like that year. And I was like, okay, God, I was just exploring with Him then while I was doing the first year of what it is that I really wanted to do. And I knew a lot of things that I didn't like to do. And
Start there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, I don't want to do that.
Right. And I was just impressed too with how you can change culture through media, you know, and especially since the United States exports so much of our entertainment all
Yeah.
around the world, you know,
Yeah.
and when I'd be in these
It's one of
weird-
their biggest exports, isn't it?
yeah, I'd be in far-flung places in Nepal, and then there would be like some U.S. movie there on their little tiny TV, you know, or something. So things that
I
are
always
written
thought
and
that
produced
about
here.
Africa too, like because you'll be in a village and you'll see a kid in a T-shirt with some like
Yeah.
movie character,
Yeah.
like famous logo from the States, and you're like, wow, this is far-reaching. It's
Yeah.
nuts.
So that was like 2006, and I decided that because I had written some features when I was in the Navy, but I kind of gave that up at one point.
What? Tell me more. You wrote feature films in the Navy? Just for fun?
Just for fun, yeah. Yeah, and I didn't really know what I was doing yet.
Oh my gosh, you are a serious
Yeah.
writer.
Interesting.
You just
Yeah.
don't muck around and write movie scripts. Finish
it's
them from
funny.
start to finish?
It's funny because
Full length?
at one point when I was in the military,
Full length.
military,
Like, that is crazy, Libby. Let me just tell you, that is crazy.
right?
Like, I'm impressed.
You
Well,
must have-
nobody gets to read those.
Yeah.
They're in the vault, are
Yeah,
they?
exactly.
You must have liked it though.
Sorry, I
yeah,
cut
yeah.
you off. What were you
well,
saying?
it was funny because I had a period where I was kind of mad at God and I had rebelled against God, and it was during this time that I started writing films. And so when I really came back to the Lord and the Holy Spirit, just shifted who I was and my focus back towards Him, and I threw away all my writing stuff, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna be a missionary, and so then when I was back at Bethel and this sort of resurged, and I was like, you really can do a lot for the kingdom through ministering in Hollywood, and not just to the people who work in Hollywood, which wasn't my aim initially, but mostly just to culture, like being a missionary to culture through writing. And so my aim has always been to write secular projects that bring in kingdom truths that make people who have no interest in Jesus yet, jealous for what they're seeing about those kingdom things.
Yeah.
Because I think jealousy is a want, like it's an agreement with something, and so maybe God can credit that as a prayer and then just come into their life and do it.
Come on,
So
sneaky.
yeah. So that's my aim. So at that point, I just decided I was going to try to learn how to hone the craft and get good at that, and then move down here and try to do it. So.
And how did you learn to hone the craft? What did you do? Did you take
I started
steps?
reading books and I started writing.
Of course,
again.
there's a lot of like books about screenwriting.
Yeah, and that's the cheapest way to do it at first.
Yeah.
And then watching movies and looking at the structure, after you read the books, and they kind of tell you what you're looking for. And then in 2011, I came down and I did a screenwriting and TV writing program that was just over the summer and had a mentorship. And I went back up to Bethel, so I was working for the media department up there at this time. And then
What was that program in LA?
it's called Act One.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's run by believers that work in the industry for believers, so that we can learn how to be really good at the craft and then come in and do movies that will get made and will be made well. So
Wow.
they have a producing track and a writing track.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I imagine it's hard, given how many writers there are, to actually become a working writer in Hollywood. So what was that process like? How did you
Yeah.
go from, okay, I'm going to be a writer, to now you're obviously writing a show?
Yeah,
It's amazing.
miracles. No.
Yeah, I know. It
True.
feels like that.
Yeah. No, it was funny because after I'd been at Bethel for a while and was praying about next steps there with media, because I didn't ever think at first that I would move down to Hollywood. But then that became evident that was going to need to happen for the goals that I wanted to do. I was just waiting for the right release time, And sometimes the grace for things lifts before you get the release to go.
Right.
And that was kind of funny. I just remember one day walking past, the Heavenly Man was there, and then I was walking by Bill and was trying to get the camera ready because I was directing, but one of our cameras was broken and we were going live soon, and I was just like, oh, the grace was gone. I was walking by then and I was like, this is not the place where you should, not be experiencing immense grace, because it's just such a wonderful place to be.
Right. Open heaven land.
Yes, exactly. And so I just prayed. I was like, okay, God, I'm just going to pray for more grace. I'm going to stay here as long as you want me to be here. But can you just credit this time towards the, going up the ladder that I'm eventually going to have to do when I move down to Hollywood?
Right. Can you speed up the process?
Oh,
Yeah, exactly.
nice.
I
like
So
the
I prayed the
prayer.
prayer. I don't
Yeah.
know if
It's a pretty cool prayer.
mattered, but yeah, as soon as I moved down here, then I got right away I got 2 internships, and one was with AMC with all their creative development executives, and
Awesome.
then they had the show Turn that they were developing. They were just getting the pilot in. They had greenlit the pilot, and so we didn't know if it was going to be a series. And I was like, hey guys, if you greenlight this, because I'd actually read the book it's based on, Washington Spies by Alexander Rose, good book.
Oh, amazing.
I had read it and thought about making Washington as a spy master into a feature. So when I saw they were doing it as a television show, I was really glad I hadn't wasted my time, because that nobody's ever going to buy that, and it's just like, okay, that's something you wrote that you can just throw away.
Yeah. Oh my
And so-
gosh.
yeah.
That must happen a lot.
But you still
Yeah.
got involved in the same story. That's really
Yeah,
awesome.
exactly. And so I was like, if you guys greenlight this, please consider me for any role on the show. Did you have a question?
Yeah. How did you secure an internship? What qualifications did you
Yeah.
have?
None. No. Act One helped. I audited their producing program because I'd already done their writing program the year before. But when I moved down here, I audited their producing program, and they set me up with these 2 internships. So that was really helpful.
Oh,
that
wow.
connection. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I told my boss at AMC, I was like, hey, I have a military intelligence background. At this point, I had almost finished a master's in American history I was just doing for fun when I was up in Reading online.
Oh,
Just for fun, that's
which
awesome.
university?
American Military University, which you don't have to be military to go to. But it was one of the, when I started the program, so long ago, it was one of the only online Masters in History programs.
So it's American history?
Yeah, it was started out in world history, but then U.S. history, and then I had the
I
concentration
love
in
US history.
Revolution,
Well,
actually.
being an Aussie coming from
Yeah.
Australia to study it all, I love it.
Yeah,
I'm really
yeah.
into
Well, that probably served you pretty specifically.
It did. It was the exact perfect project, you know.
You were
So that's
an
why I
exact-
told that little story
pretty
about the
dovetailed.
timing, because God's timing
Yeah.
is sometimes it seems very dramatic or like it takes forever, but when it all lines up, you're like, wow, that was kind of divinely perfect. Good job, God.
Yeah,
You know?
that's
So,
nice.
so I got on as the writer's assistant on that job, which for everybody who doesn't know what that is, which I didn't until I moved down here, you have a writer's
You're getting
room.
coffee? Am I writing?
Yes.
What are you doing?
So there's the writer's room.
Tell
So
us
you've
about
got-
the writer's room. Oh, this is fascinating. You wait till you hear this.
Satan's like, yes.
Libby was
So
telling us the other
everybody's
night.
around the table, and you've got
Big-
your
big
showrunner.
table?
Yeah, big table, oval generally. Not always oval, but generally. And then you've got anywhere from like 6 other writers to maybe 12 other writers. Some shows, broadcast shows that have a lot of episodes, might even have like 18 writers, but that's a lot.
Wow.
We had 6, in our showrunner. So that's the person who came up with the concept, sold the idea to the network, whatever network you're on, and then wrote the pilot. So they're kind of like the CEO of the show.
Wow.
Yeah, of the episode or the whole series?
Of the whole show.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
right. It's
right.
their vision. They're the one who sold it. So
Okay.
all the other writers are kind of there helping serve their vision.
Yep.
So the writer's assistant is also in the same room with all the writers, and but you're taking notes. And depending on which show, depending on your showrunner, you also can pitch ideas, because what's happening is they're talking about the story, and the writers will be like, oh, what if this happened, or what if that happened? And so as the writer's assistant, I also got to be like, what if this happened? And then I'm
cool.
like, so they would take a lot of my ideas over the seasons. That was really neat. But one of the fun things, and I hadn't thought about this initially when I first moved down to LA, was being in the room when they would start being like, and then we're going to have this eyes wide shut sort of sequence of, like they would bring up some really disgusting ideas. And so I was just like, I don't think that needs to be what this show is about, And so they were definitely going to do it. And I was just over there like waiting to take notes, but praying. And so, I was invited into that place. And so I had some spiritual authority to like just pray for the atmosphere and shift atmospheres and things like that. And like 5 minutes of them talking about it, they're like, that's too much. And they didn't. And they didn't do that with the character. And so that was never a storyline that was
Interesting.
ongoing. And then some other things that were going to happen with things, just prayed and then saw it like decline until it was something that was pretty neutral, So sometimes it's not what you're getting into
Just-
a show, but it's what you're keeping out,
Wow.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And
Interesting.
for sure.
Yeah, so that's been fun.
And sometimes just by praying, not even by saying anything.
Oh,
Is
right.
what you're saying.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, sometimes I was like quietly under my breath would like cover my mouth and just like release it audibly, but I don't think you really
Yeah.
need to. It can be
Right.
silent prayers too. But yeah. So nobody knew what I was doing.
Come on. Secret intelligence. Come on. Good training
How
there.
much
Thank
did
you,
your
US military.
background in the military play into writing for the show? Did that help you a lot, would you
Well,
say?
I think it
or-
certainly helped me get on the show.
Right. You're like, it helped a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
me the
but
gig.
it
Getting
has
you the
has
job.
come in handy. It has come in handy, and especially the military, just in general, because that the structure of that stays similar. Like the
Yeah.
culture of the military and taking orders and not questioning those and that sort of thing, especially for enlisted. So just as we've
Yeah.
had some
And
military
keeping
characters-
secrets.
yeah,
Keeping secrets.
yeah.
Sorry, I love
So I'm not
this.
going to tell you
I'm
how
so
the end
excited.
of season 4
Oh, no.
ends up that George Washington
Yes.
becomes a zombie and it crosses over with Walking Dead. That doesn't
Oh.
happen.
And she's not going
All
to tell me
the
about Pine.
spoiler
She's not going to tell me about the
spoilers.
secrets of Pine Gap either.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask her about Pine Gap.
I'm not
later.
even gonna tell you
Pine
who
Gap's a
wins
big
the
thing
war.
for Aussies, mate.
yeah, it is. Right there.
Yeah, right there in the
I
centre.
don't even know what Pine Gap.
Pine Gap's a US military base in the centre of Australia, and it's US soil, I think. Australians aren't even allowed on there. So Australians have got this big thing about Pine Gap. Like,
I worked with Australians.
So, they are on it, but they're Australian military?
What?
Well, general Australians aren't on it.
Yeah,
on it.
no.
But basically, the Australian government, the big thing was the Australian government doesn't have any jurisdiction over that land.
Okay.
Like, it's basically military. It's basically American soil in Australia. Yeah. So we can't, Australian has no say over what happens in there at all. So it was like, what? How can that be?
Aliens.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there was all this alien conspiracy theory stuff.
Yeah,
and everything.
we had some people picket that during spring that we were keeping them over their mating season, and it was cruel, and we need to release the aliens.
You had aliens, in prison there.
Mating season? Is that what you're saying?
That's what the picketers had signs about, that it was cruel that we were keeping these aliens over mating season.
Yeah, alien rights.
That is hard.
Yeah,
Alien rights.
Aliens need to be freed.
The American military
They really
was
do.
trapping, and that's why we got
Especially in the spring and the fall,
versus,
apparently.
and then they made Monsters
Is there a
vs
show
Aliens.
about this?
Yeah,
'Cause
Monsters vs Aliens. Didn't DreamWorks make that? Did you see it?
Monsters.
It's a
I think so.
it's a DreamWorks
I mean,
film.
I know what you're
It's
talking
really
about,
good.
but I don't
My
think we're
boys
talking
watch
about
it.
the same thing.
Yeah.
It's a
I didn't see
cartoon.
it.
It's a cartoon.
Monsters versus Aliens. Yeah.
It's funny.
Okay.
And it's basically the US military is keeping monsters and aliens secretly.
You lost me.
I'm connected in this.
You really are. Maybe too connected. I don't know.
No, well, you got to. Well, my boys watch it. I'll give you the movie so we can watch it.
Okay.
Then you'll get it. You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
I need to watch it too.
Kids, yeah.
Where is it set? What's
In the
location?
US. But
Okay. So
but
it's not in
but
the
it's US
central Australian desert.
No.
Exactly, which is where I'm going. Like, let's write a show about that, maybe.
Yeah.
Come on, Pine Gap.
There's
This could be the-
kangaroos.
This could be the next show.
Camels?
And camels. I know wild camels in Australia.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I almost ran into a camel.
Oh my gosh, did you? Mm-hmm. It's crazy. I think.
Yeah, I actually didn't see it. It was like pointed this way, and it was
kind of
like
skinny.
right by my.
It's a big
It was 2:00 in the morning, and like way my lights went around. I just
Oh my god.
almost
Near
died.
Alice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that would have been terrible.
Oh yeah. Right through.
Wait, in Australia?
Yeah, they have
Yeah,
camels.
they got released years ago in Australia, and they've just bred because it's the desert. They've bred up.
I
Like this-
didn't want to ask because I
there's
didn't want to
hundreds.
go on this segue, but I was actually really curious.
No, it is
Why
pretty-
are there camels?
I know it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just they love the Australian and harsh environment.
Yeah.
Those camels are made for it, mate. But
So-
back to the interview. Okay, Sailor. The camel sailor. That was a camel sailor
Yes.
Yeah.
right there.
Oh,
But-
camels.
Yes. No, but look. But getting back to the film, how did you move from being an assistant writer to actually becoming a real writer that's writing real episodes on turn?
Yeah. Yeah.
How did that
happen? So on
Did you
the
like that?
third season,
Saved the moment pretty good
Yeah,
there, didn't
you
I?
got back to it.
Well, that's not bad, eh? You
It was
reckon?
okay.
It was okay. Oh my god, she's harsh. Sorry.
So my boss had a dream about a camel that delivered a message that said,
In Central Australia?
"Yeah, exactly."
See? It is connected.
Amazing.
I needed to talk about the camels because it was Libby's dream.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what brought it all around. Yeah, no. The third season there was an extra episode, and that's one of the good things about being a writer's assistant is that the hope that on your show eventually there will be an extra episode that they might let you do. And so I got to do that in the third season, and then I got to go produce it on set where we film in Virginia, which was really awesome.
Oh,
Great experience.
But wouldn't they be saying, like, if it's really bad, we're not going to do it?
Yeah, the showrunner would just probably like rewrite it from the
But
ground
that didn't
up.
happen?
Yeah, no. I mean, he'll make his changes on everybody's script,
So
but
you
yeah.
wrote your first episode?
Yeah.
But I must say, by this stage, you're a bit of an old hand in writing scripts because we did a table read of your King David script,
Yeah.
your film script, 2 years ago now. That was amazing.
Thank you.
When did you write that? You'd written that before all this?
Yeah, actually, my friend Jenny and I wrote that when I lived in Bethel, or at Reading.
Right.
In Reading, at Bethel.
Yes. Now we all live at Bethel.
Yeah, we basically live at
Yeah.
Bethel.
House, Stairway to Heaven.
Yeah.
Come on.
If you work there, you worship there, you go to school there, it's like, yeah,
I know.
I go home.
It
Exactly.
does feel like that.
Yeah.
So you'd written a lot of scripts. So
Yeah.
it wasn't like it was your very first thing you were doing.
Right.
It was
Right. Yeah, but it was the first thing that got produced, so that was cool.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
Yeah. I even had a feature right for hire when I first moved down too. I did for some producers, but this was the first thing produced, so that was excellent. And then I got to go produce it, which was awesome.
Oh my
and then this
goodness.
fourth season, I'm full writing staff, and so now I have another episode, and I'll go produce that. So.
And so when you go produce it, what does that mean? You're on the ground, so you're doing writes on the day, rewrites on the day, sort of thing.
Hopefully
that sort of thing.
you don't have to do rewrites on the day.
No.
Yeah, but you're there to make sure that that everybody understands what's really happening in the scene, you know, and they're not saying the dialogue in a completely different way.
So do you do rehearsals with them? You're at the rehearsals? Are there
Sometimes.
rehearsals?
Sometimes, not always.
Yeah.
Sometimes it depends on the director and the time and all
And the
that,
scenes,
so.
I suppose, too, if they're
Yeah.
short
you
little
can.
scenes, you may not rehearse them. But if they're a big major scene that's
Right.
indoor, you might rehearse
some of
it.
the
all.
emotional heart of it.
Yeah. Wow.
How has your faith played a role in working on the show and in the industry? Has it been difficult at times, or has it been
Yeah.
pretty covert? Or
Yeah, well, everybody knows that I'm a believer. I only talk about it when it comes up, but I'm always praying, you know, and just trying to really build authentic relationships with these people. And I just love everybody I work with, you know, like if you write down what we do in our lives, you know, what we stand for, very different for some of them, but I love who they are, just as people, you know, and then we all connect on the creative level, which is really fun.
Yeah.
And so it's just great getting to know them, pray for them, and without them knowing generally, although if they wanted prayer, that would be great. But yeah, and just building life with them over years. And I think that's kind of what you need in this industry, because I have had people then now that know me over years who trust me, share things with me, and then will want prayer even though they aren't believers yet.
So cool.
Yeah, but I don't think those people would have responded if I'd just been like, hey, you know, like, you're sick, let me pray for you right now. And so it's just, not that that's bad, but for me working in the industry, I felt like this is just what seemed natural and what seemed right. And so I just enjoy my relationship with God throughout the day and have fun with him, and then just love these people. And I'm always asking him for his help in writing and like coming up with new and creative ideas and for pitches and things like that. And so I've had a lot of favor with that. And so I know a lot of those are his ideas, which he shared with me. So that's been fun. So yeah, and then also, you know, just praying for the environment and the spiritual climate of wherever I am, whether it's in the writer's room, and then that impacts all of the scripts that go out and what the actors have to do and say, or whether it's on set, you know, when I was out there producing. And so yeah, I definitely see it. I definitely see the prayers making an impact.
Yeah.
have there been any challenges along the way with being in the industry and in Hollywood for this many years?
Yeah. You know,
you mean spiritual challenges or just?
Yeah, I feel like, well, a lot of people talk about moving to LA even, and just it being so intense. Just by
don't move here unless you're called
like,
here, sort of thing.
Right. Well, I really think, you know, some of that was alleviated for me just because I really felt like God had calmed me down, told me when to come, and so things were lined up.
It felt so right.
Yeah, and things have worked out pretty well. There have been patches of just like waiting longer than I wanted to wait, you know, for getting the script that happened in the third season. I was like, okay, God, you know, I've been serving, like, when's the next step coming? And then when it did happen, it was kind of perfect and interesting timing. It happened on certain dates that meant things to me, and so that was cool. And like one of the
God's
things,
a romantic.
Yes. I'd always thought about would I go back into the intelligence field, and maybe if this didn't work out, but to do one of the things I wanted to do, you couldn't do it. You had to apply by the time you were 37. And so my 38th birthday, I was on set producing my episode.
Oh,
So
thank you, Jesus.
yeah. So because I've been waiting, you know.
Who would have
for
thought there's a
that sort of,
cutoff date for intelligence? But there is, huh?
Yeah, for
Learn
certain
something new
aspects
every
of
day.
it. Yeah, one of the things I thought about doing. So now I'm too old, but there I was, you know, and like
Amazing.
seeing fruition on one of the dreams he'd given me, and that can take a while.
Yes. Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Gosh.
But yeah, and this season, honestly, after the election, has been very difficult. So, because everybody's very upset around Hollywood, as
In
you can
LA,
imagine.
yeah.
Yeah. So just being able to keep conversation up and help them understand things and listen to them and that kind of thing has been interesting. So.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, but as far as moving to LA as well, you know, I do feel like LA can be intimidating. I feel like it might almost be like a principality over the area or something is intimidation, which people can feel different ways.
It's intense.
Yeah, they can either feel like I'm not good enough, like I'm not as good as everybody else around me, or I'm too old to be at this stage, like I should have gotten much further along. Like this comparing thing that you find yourself at the bottom of the barrel of.
Yeah.
I think it's just that thing that's over here. And so once I realized that's like a spiritual thing, which I think some people can get fearful and then they can get aggressive in response to, or they can get insecure. You know, it can go either way. And so realizing that anytime I felt that, it was like, psh, that's not me, you know, that's over this area. That's really great to know that you don't even have to process those thoughts. And just going back to knowing that Daddy loves me, you know, and that he's made me in his image, and that I'm in his bubble of protection and love and cover and favor and guidance, and just going into that
where can
anywhere.
you buy that, man?
Exactly.
You can't buy that anywhere.
You can't. And so then you don't have to be afraid when you go into this field that's filled with brilliant people who may or maybe not are scared. And then you can just love them out of it because you know that you're not waiting for someone to do you a favor to get to the next realm, you know, to like, you don't have to network in a way that's manipulative because you need something from them.
Which is so common.
Yeah. You really know that it's God that's bringing you each step of the way. He's the one who's got your fortunes and your favor in his hands, and he is to build you up and not to tear you down. And so then you can really just relax and enjoy it and love people. And I've actually experienced people in Hollywood be very willing to help me and like want to help me without me asking, and do things for me and help me in all kinds of different ways, and I really respond to that because I think they're very excellent at knowing what's authentic, you know, because in creativity you need to know what feels fake and what feels right, and they're very good at that. And so if they know you want something from them, they'll smell it right away and not want to give it, you know. And if you don't know that you're getting that from God, then of course you would think I need to use my networking to get what I need to, you know, fulfill my calling or whatever. But really, God does that. So.
Wow.
So it's made all the difference.
Yeah.
And it makes this really fun, you know?
Yeah.
So, except sometimes when it's not.
Except those days.
Yeah, you just gotta go in the bathroom and pray. Like, I gotta go to the bathroom again, I'll be back.
I feel like a lot of that applies to this question, but what kind of advice do you have for aspiring writers specifically?
Okay. Yeah. Know that God loves you a lot. Ask for his ideas. And then really work on honing your craft, you know, because you really do need to try to have skills, and those aren't given in an encounter probably, you know, like I think he adds to them
you're
for
really
sure.
Lucky.
Yeah. In which case, come and pray for me.
The number of times I sit in front of a piano and I'm like, oh, it'd be so nice if God just taught me how to play this.
You hear the stories about people getting languages. That'd be great. I get the language of storytelling. That'd be awesome.
I'm waiting for heaven. I'm going to learn piano in heaven.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. Me too.
Come on.
And flying. I'm gonna fly.
Yes.
But yeah, like take the craft seriously and trying to learn it. You really can learn a lot from books. You can learn a ton from. There's so many podcasts out there from writers that are working. So find somebody you like how they write, and then look and see if they've written anything about writing, or if they do a podcast about writing. A lot of writers have blogs. A lot of writers have podcasts. So that's always really good stuff. And then when you move here, try to move here with friends. It's cheaper to live with them.
Yes.
And it takes a while to get on your feet here.
That's
you know?
good advice.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's ahead for you? Do you love being in TV? Do you have aspirations to do more film?
Yeah.
Any and all of it?
Yeah, both. Yeah. So I've been taking meetings for both other TV shows, and then I have a pilot that's in the process of hopefully going forward somewhere.
So you've written a pilot.
Yeah.
For a potential series.
Yes.
And it's in the hands of other people, or you?
Yeah. It's producers that are trying to package it and things like that. Develop it. So
just privately or through the guys at Turn? I mean, through the AMC.
No, it's not through AMC. This pilot is about the first female special forces unit to graduate, because that doesn't exist yet, but it may in the future if any can pass.
Oh, that's exciting.
Because women are getting the
so it's
ability now.
Futuristic.
Well, it's set in the modern day.
But it's something's
and then
happened.
they get conscripted by the CIA ground branch to go help. you know,
What a cracker!
He's
so it's
so
not really
excited.
it's not really
He's so
AMC's wheelhouse.
tea.
So
Yeah.
it would be more like maybe something that spends a lot more money on stuff. So
Right.
Ah, hope that gets made. That
that's-
sounds great.
yeah, so we'll see.
Come on. Oh
But
my
then
gosh.
also features. I'd love to do
Peter's got to be
features.
in that. Peter's got to be in that.
Yeah.
Special Forces.
Oh,
Wouldn't she
should
be perfect?
amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Gotta lift those
Features too.
arm weight muscles.
Come on.
Just a lot
Yeah.
of this, and a lot of this.
So how did you get on this top 100 screenwriters list of 2016, is it? Tell us about that.
Yeah. It's
Was it
called the
random? Did you
Young
apply
and
for it?
Hungry? No. Yeah, it's top 100 new writers. So
From
it's-
Turn, obviously. From Writing on Turn, or no?
No, I think it was more to do with the pilot.
Okay.
Because I have an amazing manager who's been sending it all over town, and so this
People
is
have read it.
this is it's
Heck.
voted on by like executives, and then I think mostly just executives, maybe some other people too, but you know, like studio execs or movie company executives.
So when do you write? Do you like... Because you're at work all day, do you come home and then have some dinner and pat your kitty cats? Because I know you got cats.
Yeah, I've
and
got
then
cats.
get into the
Yeah.
night and write through the night,
But
or...
then they would jump on me. Bonk me. No, the nice thing about television writing is that we have this thing called hiatus, which is a fancy word for unemployment. It's awesome. So in between
actors experience that a lot
seasons-
too,
Yeah,
don't they?
exactly.
You work all the time.
Yeah, it just
and
sounds so
you have time
impressive.
off.
Yeah, exactly. So then you're working for free during your hiatus on your projects that you hope to sell
It's a euphemism.
later.
Hiatus.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. So it's a great time to get your own projects done. So
Awesome.
yeah, so sometimes I'll work on things, you know, on the weekends or some other time, but.
Well, I think it's almost time for our final question.
Come
Okay.
on now.
They're really intense.
Yes. Are you ready to be?
I'm ready. Wait, I need to sip with my.
Oh, this is going to be great. Because she's a writer. I'm really looking forward to the answer to this.
Okay.
Thank you for being here.
My
Libby,
pleasure. Yes.
So good to have you.
Sorry. So good to have you.
It's so good to have
What's
you.
my favorite color?
Yes.
That could be one.
I like blue.
Blue. Blue's awesome. What is your favourite movie?
Oh, my favorite movie. I don't have a favorite. That's hard.
It's so hard.
Yeah. I will say that I really love Goonies. I love the Goonies.
You did mention Goonies
Yeah,
tonight. She's
yeah.
already mentioned it.
I have. It's not my favorite
What is
ever,
it? What is it?
But
I've never heard of
definitely
it.
top 10.
Classic.
Oh, yeah. It's so
I must see it.
awesome. Yeah, it's about these...
Is it a series?
These little kids. No, it's just a movie. Yeah.
Just Goonies or The Goonies?
The Goonies.
You asked her what her favorite movie was. Is it a series? I don't know it. It must be TV. We both
There's
have
so
I
homework.
know all
there's
the
so many
movies.
excellent movies, though. But
Can't be a movie. I don't know it.
Yeah.
We both
I
have
know.
homework for tonight.
They do, yes.
What are you guys' favorite movies?
Braveheart.
It's a good one.
I love Count of Monte Cristo.
Oh,
That's
okay.
brilliant.
I love
And
King's
you like-
Speech more recently.
And Stardust.
Stardust is
I
funny.
do.
Yep.
No, but it's not your favourite. I thought it might be up there.
I do
I
like.
was expecting a bigger reaction, but I got a bit let down there, Crystal.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, I do love Stardust.
She used to like Stardust.
Yeah.
No, I do.
She does.
Yeah.
If we're going with drama, I love it like Confidential as well.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
With Guy Pearce and Russell
Russell
Crowe.
Crowe,
That was
yeah.
back in the early days. And Kim
Yeah.
Basinger.
Yep.
That was
Yeah.
a great film, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it's got so many layers.
Who
Very
directed
interesting.
that?
Oh gosh, I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
I've even
Someone
seen
great.
him talk about it.
But
I
I'll
went
tell
to
you what-
him do a Q&A, but I'm blanking on his
After
name.
seeing Heat's
Oh,
up
yeah.
there with one of my favourites because it's...
Yeah.
I didn't realise it was so amazing when I saw it for the first time in cinema. But I've watched it twice
Actress
recently.
in
And
that, Diane Venora.
yes, Diane's in
She's
it.
been on
She's
Iris
brilliant
After
in it.
Hours.
Yeah.
Come on.
And probably shouldn't say I haven't seen it yet, but I will.
It's on
There's always tonight.
Amazon, I think. It's on Amazon.
It's really After Hours. If you could explore any other profession, what would it be?
Gosh, she already has. She's already been... Look at this girl.
I
You've already been a
know.
missionary. She's already been in intelligence. And
Right.
she's a professional writer. Award-winning, well, top 100 writer.
I always thought it would be fun to be a helicopter pilot.
Yes.
Solid.
Do you know how the controls work? Funny story. Okay, saying this. One of my
How would
first...
you...
One of my first TV jobs, I had to be a
I'm
helicopter
pretty
pilot.
much ready to fly
Yeah,
right now.
same.
I've got
This
it
is how
down.
it
Because you press your feet.
Oh, you have to use pedals?
Oh, you don't know? Oh,
Maybe I need a lesson.
Well,
Just one. I'll be ready to go.
a helicopter pilot gave me like a 5-minute training when I had to be a chopper pilot on this TV series in Australia. It was one of the first acting jobs on TV, and he's explaining it all to me, and it's like crazy. You got a joystick that takes you like this way, and then you've got pedals on the floor to swing your tail left or right.
Oh.
So you've got all and it's like a hair. It's so like, because I did actually fly one for my friend Aaron in Ireland. He let me fly the helicopter. My wife is freaking out in the back, as you can imagine, Sarah.
Oh, man.
He
Sarah
gave me the
wouldn't.
control of the helicopter in the air, and it's just like, if you do anything too hard, it's like a hair trigger. It's like, ooh, ooh. It's like
Yeah.
Sarah screaming. But yeah, it's fun.
Sarah must have been losing it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That sounds complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, but he landed it like in the backyard of the house. We jumped in the helicopter. So, but for practicality,
Yeah.
helicopters are the most fun things ever.
That would be great to get around LA traffic.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite sound?
A favorite sound?
I know, right? We borrowed some of these from the actors
Not-
studio.
Not that one.
Yeah. Start with the things you don't like.
Yeah, exactly. Limit it down. I like the sound of rainbows. The sound of the mist.
The way I imagine it sounds.
Yeah.
Cool.
Sound of sunshine.
Silence?
Brilliant. Yeah. No, that one makes me sad. And I do like the sound of rain. We'll go with that.
Cool.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect.
I love the sound of
Okay,
rain.
yeah,
Do
you
you
guys
wanna
have to
bring
answer
it
that
up?
too.
I'll bring it home.
My daughter laughing.
Oh, okay.
It's so cheesy.
That's a good one
But
though.
it's just true.
I suppose laughter. I wasn't thinking of people noises, except for the.
Right. Yeah.
That's a good one.
It's a kind of a cop out when you're a parent, but it is true.
It might be my favorite
It's
sound too. Your daughter laughing.
Aw.
Okay.
You can bring it home.
So
Nathan.
bring it home. Okay,
Yeah.
Livy. This life is finished, said and done. Your time on earth is through. You're leaving this mortal coil behind,
Okay.
and you're heading up to heaven.
Yeah.
And your spirit
You
woman,
just keep making this
victorious
question more
at the end.
dramatic over time.
and you meet Jesus at the pearly gates.
So exciting.
What do you want to hear him say to you?
Oh well. After laughing, maybe well done, good and faithful servant, or hey, welcome home, friend.
Nice.
I love it. Love it.
Perfect.
That's a good sailor moment right
Or
there.
yeah. He could just make the sound of hugging, the like happy squeal from hugging.
Yeah.
The good
That'd be a
version.
good first
The
sound.
good
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly. It's different.
That would be both. That would be the
Because
favourite
it's
sound
different.
and
It's
oh.
That's awesome.
No, I think
It's too
I
many
think
squealy
I think that's
noises.
that's where I'm at too. I think
yeah.
I'm in the hug zone with Jesus one
Yeah.
because I'm like my love language is physical touch. So
Yeah.
the words are great, but a hug says 1,000 words for me. What are you laughing at?
I'm sorry.
Am I being funny?
You're
I'm
just
being serious, and she
like,
laughs.
It's such a kiddish sensibility, right?
I like
I
it.
know.
Yes.
I know.
It's great.
Libby, we are excited about the future, and I mean, what could happen with you here? Like, TV show, movies? Are you still interested
Hopefully
in
the
writing
David
movies?
film
The
goes
David
at some
film. I
point,
know.
yeah.
I love the David film.
Yeah.
Are you going
Here's
past our 5 questions, man?
Sorry,
It's like only 30,000
I'm just
David films
fascinated
in the
here.
works.
Watch this
so
space.
I'm just
I
one of
know
them.
David is so popular in Hollywood. The other year,
True.
there was like I wanted to write a David series, and I found out
should.
someone else is writing it,
Yeah, you might as well.
and then everyone's doing it. So,
Yeah.
and they did a TV series about David.
Right. Well, the modern day one
Yeah, no,
with like the police family.
no. It came out already. It's out. You haven't seen it? Peter
it
auditioned for it. Yeah, it's been made. It's like a mini series.
Has it come out?
Yeah.
David, I don't know why I said David. I meant
Oh my gosh, she
Nathan.
just had a prophetic moment.
David.
No, you were in the spirit and you said David.
Yeah, I was gonna say you need to
Oh my
audition for
gosh.
all the David things.
You played Eliezer for us, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's Nathan's
Very well.
dream.
Yeah.
So yes,
Yeah.
he
Come on.
needs to audition for all those things.
Come on.
For
Definitely.
Shaka
Definitely.
baba.
It's been so good to have you.
Yeah,
thank you
thank
for braving
you.
the LA traffic.
Oh, my pleasure.
Right?
My pleasure. I'm gonna take the helicopter home. So
Yeah.
it'll be quick.
Right? In
Nice.
Fantasy World.
Yeah, can you
Yeah.
drop me off? I'll parachute out.
Sure,
now,
yeah.
At Glendale.
It's late enough that your 3 miles or whatever should be like nothing.
Oh yes, the
Yeah.
45 minutes has gone down to 5.
Yeah. It might have been like 10 miles. I'm not sure.
it's probably true.
Distance doesn't matter.
Whatever,
here,
it's
right?
fine.
There's no distance in the spirit.
Awesome. Well, I'm sure
Well-
there's amazing things in store. We're excited.
Come on. We're going to get you back when it's down to the top 10 writers in Hollywood.
Totally.
Okay? We'll get you back on.
Yep, sounds good.
Great.
Good. No performance anxiety to be
Yes,
back.
exactly. No pressure. Okay. We love you guys. Bless you. Be encouraged by crazy testimonies like this. And God can do amazing things through your life. Just open yourself up and be true to yourself. Be true to God and let the Holy Spirit lead you. And watch this space. Shaka baba.
Until next time.
See ya. Bye. This podcast is presented by Iris Global. For more information or to support the work of Iris Global, please visit us online at irisglobal.com.